most despicable character traits is anger. Anger releases the beast within us, and it leads to hatred. And anger doesn't just come out of the blue. There's a process. Let's explore the process. The Gemara Masechtas Pesachim tells us about a very important mitzvah. It's called the mitzvah of prika and te'ina. That's unloading and loading. If you see somebody with a donkey and they're trying to load the packages on the donkey, help them out. That's called te'ina. Or if you see someone trying to unload the donkey and he's having a hard time, help him out. That's called prika. The Gemara says that of the two mitzvahs, these mitzvahs are not equal. Not all mitzvahs are equal, but some are more equal than others. Because the mitzvah of unloading the donkey has a preference to it. Because besides helping out the owner of the donkey, you're also helping out the donkey. Because if you're sitting there with the load on its back, and you help the owner get the load off the donkey's back, you're making it easier on the owner, you're making it easier on the donkey. So picture the scenario. You're walking by, and you see two donkeys. One guy's trying to put the load on the donkey, one guy's trying to take the load off the donkey. You don't have enough time to help both of them. So which one do you help? Right, you help the one that's trying to get it off. Okay, except in the following case. There's one exception. If one of them is someone that he's your friend, you love him, he's your bro, and the other one's your enemy, you hate him, so then you don't have to help the one that's unloading the donkey. You could help the one that's loading the donkey. Which one? Instinctively, we'd say you could help your friend. No. The Torah says you got to help the one you hate, the enemy. You have to help him. And you have to help him. Not only do you have to help him unload the donkey, you have to help him if he's loading the donkey, which is a tremendous chiddush. Because again, go back to the two donkeys. You got two donkeys. You got your friend, he's unloading the donkey. You got your enemy, he's loading the donkey. So you have to help the enemy, which is, that's surprising. Because number one is, why do you have to help your enemy? And number two, if you help your enemy, so then that poor donkey, your friend donkey, he's left with the peckle on his back, a poor donkey. So you don't care about the donkey. You don't have to do it. So come on, ask this question. Why do you help the one you hate? Why do you have to help your enemy? Why can't you help the one you like? Why can't you pick him? And why does the poor donkey have to suffer? Because you're helping the enemy. The other donkey is sitting there in the sun, hot sun. He hasn't taken a break for 14 years. You got to get that thing off. No, you can ignore him. Sorry, I got to help the enemy. The Gemara says, L'chayiv is Yitzray, because you have to overcome your Yetzer Hara. That you have an inclination not to help your enemy. You got to break that. And the way you break that is when you're faced with a choice between helping the one that you're naturally inclined to help and then helping the one that you want to stay away from, you don't want to see him. You got to help him. So you got to overcome your inclination. The Gemara has a kasha. So when the Torah talks about friends and enemies or people that you hate or people you don't hate, it never gives examples of human emotion. What, you hate the guy because in 5th grade he stole your ice cream. The Torah doesn't use examples like that. When the Torah talks about an enemy, it's talking about an enemy that the Torah considers an enemy. It's someone you're allowed to hate. It's someone you're allowed to be. He's allowed to be your enemy. And the Gemara says you're right. It's not someone that you have a personal hatred for. The Gemara is talking about someone that's a Russia. Someone that's a Russia is someone that you could be his enemy, you could hate him. So it comes like this. Back to the two donkeys. You got the two donkeys, you got your friend, you got the Russia. Your friend's a tzaddik, the Russia's a Russia. And you got to help the Russia. And the Torah says he's your enemy. And he is your enemy because he's a Russia. Taisa has a kasha on this. It says that if he's your enemy, so why do you have to fight your Yetzer Hara? Why do you have to correct this character flaw? You have to get over it. You have to break it. You have to fight your inclination. Your inclination is to help your friend. You're not inclined to help your enemy. Why do you have to fight that inclination? There's nothing wrong with that inclination. If you don't want to help him, it's because he's a Russia. He's a Russia, so who knows where he's going with his donkey? Who knows where he's been with the donkey? If you're justified in hating him, why do you have to help him? And the Gemara closes in terms of its character refinement. What character refinement? What character refinement? Character refinement, you're not supposed to hate Russia? You're supposed to hate Russia. You hate Akasha. Why does it help you? Why does it make you better if you overcome your natural tendency not to help Rishoyim? That sounds backwards. Taisus has an answer. He answers like this. It's so insightful. It's so penetrating. He said, because there's a process. He says, you have a guy who's a Russia, you saw he's a Russia. And you're only allowed to hate him if you know he's a Russia, because you saw it. You can't do it because you read it on Twitter. That doesn't make a person into a Russia. You saw! And it also says to me, you saw that a guy did something wrong with full awareness of the gravity of what he did. There can't be any excuses, there can't be any justifications. These things, it's not common nowadays, if it's even possible. I don't know if it's possible to have Rishoyim nowadays. But in the times of the Gemara it was. So you saw. You didn't hear it. You saw it. You're allowed to hate him. And you do hate him. Because you're faithful to your Creator. And he's not. He's on the other side. You hate him. But then, Taisa says, what happens? He finds out that you hate him. Now, you're justified in hating him, but he doesn't see it that way. He doesn't care that you're allowed to hate him. He looks at it this way. He says, you hate me, I hate you. So you have the moral high ground. You're allowed to hate him. You're supposed to hate him. He's wrong. He has no right to hate you back. But he does anyway. Then you find out he hates you anyway. You say, what? What? That's not right. There's something not right about it. That's not straight. The way it's supposed to play out is I hate him. And when he finds out I hate him, he's supposed to say, okay, yeah, I deserve it. But it didn't work out that way. So then you say, what? He hates me because I hate him, so now I hate him I hate him back. It's like ping pong. He smacked me, I smacked him, he smacked me, I smacked him. Taisha says, so it comes out that when you have an enemy, even if you're justified, even though it's a mitzvah, but you have two hatreds, there's two sources. One is because it's a mitzvah to hate Russia, and the other one is because you hate him because he hates you. He said, that's treif. Treif means that's not kosher. And that you have to get rid of. And that you have to help him. Even though your friend is struggling with his donkey. And even though your friend's donkey is suffering. Ignore the suffering of your friend's donkey. Ignore your friend. Help your enemy. Because you have to make sure that your hatred is pure. You don't have anything mixed in. Emotions are complex. Have a great day.